All right, welcome everybody. I want to take a second to kind of summarize Chapter 7 using 3 pretty simple problems. Now, they're not all going to be this easily broken down. A lot of times they're going to be contextual, there's going to be other words and stuff like that, but I'm going to kind of highlight the different things going on here and when we're going to use which process, and also how to use the calculator to get these answers. If we understand which calculator operation to use, this shouldn't be too bad. So, this says the confidence level and sample data. Use the confidence level and sample data to find a confidence level for estimating a proportion or a mean. Give all of your answers in the interval form. So this means like just whatever the calculator spits out, we're going to give the low value and the high value. Remember, that's the middle value minus the error and plus the error. We'll talk about what the middle value is as well. But let's get into this. So there are 3 situations. So before I actually solve these problems, I'm going to just write which calculator operation we're going to use. So it says estimate P. When you see P, that means we're going to be finding a proportion. And they give us N, which is the total number of people that were asked a question, or the total number sampled. And X is the number of people that, I don't know. Here's an example. Let's say I ask 806 people if they like White Castle, and 492 say yes. So N is the total number sampled. X is the number of people who said they like White Castle. You're going to be calculating a proportion interval here. So the calculator function we use is 1... I'm going to actually do this in red. Let me get this red thing highlighted. 1 prop z int. Oops, z int. Because it's a proportion test. So again, you see the word prop, that's per proportion. That's when we have n and x. Alright, the next one says estimate the mean if n is 92, the sample mean is 19, and we see this fancy sigma here. That is the standard deviation of the population, okay? So I'm going to quickly hop between B and C, but take a look. You see here we're given sigma, so we know we have the standard deviation of a population. Here we have S, which is the standard deviation of a sample. So the difference between these two is here we have the population standard deviation. When you have that, you are going to use Z, let me get my red going again, Z interval. And when you have just a sample standard deviation, you're going to use the T interval. So again, knowing which process is which is going to be really important. You see that going through this one more time. If we just have X, N, and a confidence level, we're just going to use 1 prop Z int. If you are given the number sampled, the sample mean, and a population standard deviation sigma, you're going to use Z interval. If you're given N and X bar and sample, this we just have sample data, you use the T interval. So now how do we get to these functions in the calculator? Once you realize which one to use, we're just going to go to stat and we're going to arrow over to test. All 3 of these can be found in this list. Let's start with 1 prop Z interval. You need to scroll down for a while. Sometimes it's number 9, sometimes it's letter A, but you see right here, you're looking for 1 prop Z int. I'm going to highlight that. X is the number that responded. I made up that they like White Castle, right? 492. How many total people did we ask? We asked 806. 806. And the confidence level here is going to be 0.95. And now we calculate that, and there's our interval. So that's the answer for this one, is going to be, this is the interval notation for this. So it's going to be 0.57676, comma, 0.64409. Again, in Math Excel, something like that, we might need to round, but for the sake of this one, I think we're okay with that. All right, so now let's keep moving. Let's do another one of these. This time we're going to use the Z interval, so we're going to stat. We're going to go over to test. Again, this is where all your intervals are. This is where the stuff in Chapter 8 and 9 is too, so don't forget about this. So for Z interval, we're going to select this one. Make sure you have stat selected. First thing it wants is our population standard deviation, which is 1.45. What was our sample mean? Our sample mean was 19, and the number sampled was 92. That's N. Our confidence level this time is 0.90, and we're going to calculate that, and there is our confidence interval for the mean. So we are 90% confident that the mean is somewhere in between these 2 numbers. And we might need to round those, but Okay, so that one's when we have sigma, when we know the population standard deviation. The last one for the sample, we're going to use the t-interval, so I'm going to go over. We're going to scroll down. I think it's number 8 for me is the t-interval. Again, these numbers might be slightly different in your calculator, but you will have that in there if you got a TI 83 or 84. Select stats. How many people are we working with? First thing is our sample mean, which was 195. Standard deviation is 45. Number is 567. And our confidence level is 99%. So let's run that one. This time our t-interval is 190.01, comma, oops, the upper end is 199.99. So I'm going to send a follow-up video. If you need it in that plus or minus notation, there's a little bit more work you need to use. You can see like they give us the mean as 195. That would be in the middle, and then you find the error. It's in the notes, but I'm going to send a follow-up video for that as well. So I hope this helps.